For the past year or so, I've played many of my favorite games like Project Zomboid pretty exclusively on handhelds, such as my Lenovo Legion Go. Admittedly, some games have zero compatibility between PC and the Lenovo handheld. Project Zomboid has done pretty well, but there have been a number of user interface and gameplay challenges that have popped up, and I was excited to see how the developers tackled these for more sustainable and fun quality of life gameplay. I jumped into the game pretty immediately on build 42.20 release day and was pleasantly surprised to discover a world that felt super detailed and developed. If you're a veteran gamer of PZ, you're going to love the map overhauls. And if you're brand new to the game, go back and watch some of my previous videos so you can truly appreciate the new world layout.
It's not product placement, I just like it.
As promised, in the lead up to this release, the developers have outdone themselves in making a Kentucky that feels truly lived in. The texture of the buildings and terrain are remarkable. I personally love the unique builds of homes with decorative paneled and even full glass doors, skylights, and something that looks like empty pools in some backyards. Too bad we don't have ladder climbing capabilities in the game just yet, but developers have promised that it will be on deck. I wanted to get out and explore, so I immediately found keys to a car and got on the road. I decided to start this new playthrough in Riverside, the area of Project Zomboid where I built my first base. Oh, how I miss the storage facilities with a barbecue and a garden on the roof. There was a lot that felt familiar, but not exactly. I tried to make my way to the police station, which used to be across the street from this gas station, and got lost. I'll put a spoiler at the end of this video if folks want to know where the new location of the police station is in Riverside. Look at this huge facility. Quite the upgrade from what was basically a police trailer before. It's hard to believe that a mere 20 days ago, we were hearing the first word that PZ developers were finally releasing the stable branch of Build 42, a massive update to the Project Zomboid game that introduced new locations like Ekron and Irvington, new game mechanics such as the beloved animal husbandry, and new bugs that have been overhauled around 19 times so far. Well, you know what they say, 20th time's the charm. I've been super excited to jump into build 42.20, particularly because of the announcement that this patch will address issues with controller play, which is huge for handheld gamers like me. I spent a few hours on release day investigating if performance has improved, if controller input feels better, and if there are fewer little annoyances during longer gameplay sessions. Here's what I learned. The controls are pretty much the same. They haven't quite addressed the running mechanic for handhelds, so your character will run when you move your left joystick instead of walk. If you press the right joystick while running, it will toggle on sprinting. You could use the walk to function by pressing and holding the left joystick for a radio menu, which served as an option to get your character to walk, but they seem to have gotten rid of that radio option. There are currently no options if you're really trying to conserve energy. There also doesn't seem to be any changes to the UI. Crafting and storage menus still take up half of the screen, but remember, if you're playing on the Legion Go, you can use the touchscreen to adjust this. There are some gameplay adjustments, like this neat little option when picking up items to choose which container you'd like to store them in. There are also a few new options in radio menus, like turning the minimap on and off. They did, however, get rid of some useful quality of life adjustments, like being able to eat and walk at the same time. Although, this may be because I can only run. There's also something weird going on with the search function. It will turn off automatically after a bit if you have not found anything. Now, I'm going to sound super contradictory right now. Although I love the detail and expansion to the map, the screen feels very crowded at times and can be difficult to tell what is what on the screen. The new XL and XXL trees can sort of crowd up the screen from the outside because they don't disappear entirely. I think the hiding of walls and trees could still use a bit of work. I miss the old mod that allowed you to peek around corners or upstairs. And look, there's so much going on in this room that I had a difficult time finding the door, and my character just ran around in circles, missing the exit like a maniac, treating the interstate like the Kentucky Derby. And as for the firearm mechanics, this was the reason I spent an entire in-game day seeking out the police station. For me, PZ has become as much of a combat game as it is a survival and crafting game. I've started to enjoy choosing the veteran trait to really give my firearm skills a leg up. When I did finally get my hands on a shotgun, I found that there weren't any changes to this mechanic either. The aiming mechanic is so disparate from the feel of a mouse and can be a little clunky for new players. Here's my pro tip for gamers playing PZ on the Legion Go. Use the FPS mode if you're planning to do a big shoot 'em up run. That's the beauty of this handheld device. You can easily detach the controllers and continue with analog joystick movement in your left hand and mouse controls in your right hand. And once you're done clearing out Main Street, just reattach the controllers and go back to cozy gameplay. The FPS controls are a little different, and I will release a controller play video of this at some point, but just some quick information. Hold down the left trigger to aim, and you will be able to move the aiming reticule just as you would a mouse. Then, click your right-click button to fire. My right-click function is preset on the M2 button because that feels easier for my hands. Check your Legion Go space to find out your specific controller settings. Oh, and this works for melee combat as well. This doesn't solve the clunkiness of the gunplay, but for now, utilizes the strength and versatility of what makes the Legion Go the best handheld for on-the-go gaming. These are my biggest reactions to the new stable build. There have been some awesome changes to the art and maps, but not much in taking controller gameplay to the next level. Yet. I know that they'll continue releasing patches. For now, it'll take a little getting used to settling into build 42.20, but I'm up for the challenge. Looking forward to getting hours of gameplay in and discovering what the new maps have to offer. I'm enjoying little things like this stove in the front yard and boxes in the world that can actually be packed. I think once the PZ community start developing new mods for the game, we'll find that Zomboid sweet spot once more. I need a new common sense mod ASAP so I can open garage doors with a crowbar. Leave a comment and tell me what you're enjoying about the new build on handhelds or just in general. And subscribe to my channel as I release more tips, tricks, and survival advice for playing Project Zomboid on the go. Oh, and spoiler time, the Riverside police station is there, right next to the fire station. I almost didn't recognize it at first and drove past this massive building a few times. If you're playing in Riverside, you must stop by and stock up on ammunition. Maybe next I'll release a video giving everyone a tour of Riverside and the other new maps in the game. Until then, this is your Book Bag Gamer with plenty of fun gameplay to accomplish on my lunch breaks. Over and out.